I've been wanting to ask you for a while about trends, but I believe we're going to look at that when the time comes. But you don't put much emphasis on trends, do you? But I noticed in the stream yesterday, we did kind of look at that. I noticed that, yeah, when you were on stream.
Hmm.
I thought, well, there you go. So it's broke through that trend, and then we had the massive dump, and you'd had that
Hmm.
trend before. So
Hmm.
you do use trends, don't you? But I don't know how to draw them or how you would draw trends.
Yeah. Um, we definitely will go into this in depth. They do have validity in my mind. They just have probably 5 to 10% of the validity that other people assign to them because and I'm gonna quickly say this because I'm careful to always not overload you with information, especially irrelevant information, you know what I mean? And to keep you from the basics to, the more important stuff in a progression. So let's just say that I have this trend, right? And it's a daily trend. And it's like, oh, okay, it just kind of hits this and comes through a little bit. Oh, it hits it again, it comes up. Oh, it hits it again. All right, I'm gonna long this. And then comes down, you get stopped out. All right, I'm gonna long it again. This is it. This is the one. And it just dumps through it. You know what I mean? Comes up. All right, this was the one. I'm getting out on this one. I'm longing it. Bam. Stopped out again. All right, I'm longing it. And now you're waiting for how long? You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, cool. Like depending on upon your leverage and position and all that jazz, you may get in, may not get stopped out, even though that's probably decent amount. Yeah, it's almost like, 0.6, 0.7%, three quarters of a percent. So high leverage, like you're done for it. You know what I mean? If you're trading that. Now, what I'll say without going too deeply into it is if I see this move right here, right? This right here, and this is part of the reason and why I close a decent amount of my trade out at this point right here. And you can see that that was irrelevant. Now, if I wanted to really attend to the trade very closely and watch it unfold on all these little time frames, like I would have left it all open and I would have been golden, right? But I removed an amount. I made a decent amount, right? Removed what I made here, and this was my like first significant take profit point. Not only because of this trend, but it was also because of this right here. You know what I mean? Because we have this is our low. This was a really significant point in that low, which is what it was struggling to close above, which is essentially this same exact level right here. It's the same thing. And that's what I talk about the domino effect right there. This level here, you see, like they almost are like they bleed right into each other. You can barely tell the two colors apart. They're such a small amount away from each other. Now, what I'm always saying about trends rather is I will use them as just an area to look where to find my point of interest that's the most relevant. And I'll use that in conjunction with my relevant break of structure points on multiple time frames, you know. So I'm not trading trend. I'm not going to be like, all right, I'm going to set along here because you're trying to balance time and price, horizontal and vertical at the same time, which is ever changing. Like every candle that opens, that's going to change. You know what I mean? As more and more candles, if this were to range sideways here more, it may have come up to just this point here. And it may have pushed through a little bit. And it would have used this and this in conjunction. And it does so, in my opinion, because all these things are connected. Neither one are singularly more important than the other. I think that this is only important because all of these levels, highs and lows back here, created this. This is only a reaction to all of this. So therefore, you don't need this. You don't ever need to use it. You can never use trends and you can trade perfectly fine. But it can help you to see the areas with a little bit more precision and where to look for exits and entries. If that makes sense to you.
It does, because I mean, I've been drawing trends for a while, and they keep breaking through, and then you move it,
Yeah.
break through again, and you move it. And you're like,
Yes.
how reliable are these trends if I have to keep moving it all the time?
They're not reliable if you put too much validity on them, right? Like if you, like some people teach, like, oh, if it closes or hard closes or this or that or deep dives and all that nonsense, you know what I mean? Like, they're easy to explain and teach. Like, I could show things on screen with trends that are just like, I'm a chart historian, like, oh my god, it's amazing, right? Like, oh, at hard close, or it, rejected here, and it was like to the dot, blah, blah, all that nonsense. And it's like, they're good magic tricks. Like, did a magician ever actually pull a rabbit out of a hat that was empty? No, I mean, of course not. It's stupid. You know what I mean? It's preposterous. Trends are the same thing. Trends are the effects of the levels that really matter. And the levels that really matter are really, if we're, really want to get deep into it, are these back here. But again, like I've said before, like, I'm not trading these highs and lows over here. But if I mark them, like, they hold a lot of weight, I'm just going to mark one of them, just that one. Like, look at it in the future. You know what I mean? Like, it's bouncing all around that. And it's not that I'm going to trade this high over here. But look, if I would have, at several of these points, like, if I would have just like kept doing it, like, yeah, sure, I could have traded it, and got in pretty good. I mean, it's a daily, but you see my point. It's like, they're only as important because they created everything before them. And a trend is important because it is created off of this high and this low and this one and this one. And all these over here are created off of those, which therefore creates trends on both sides. And it's just like it's like an equation of sorts, It's not a response to an entry and exits of trades. And that, to me, is like, I will stand by that indefinitely until somebody proves me wrong. It's, I haven't seen it, and I've thought a lot about it, and I just don't think that's the case personally.